what's going on in his heart. Vayisa Yaakov is as if he's lifting up his feet. Why is the Torah telling him he's lifting up his feet? Because right now, the heart of Yaakov Avinu is that he feels that as if he was healed from any illness, from any fear. As Shlomo Melech says in Mishlei, Eliyahu Kito brings it in chapter 14, Chaye B'sarim Leiv Marpeh. The heart of flesh of man is the healer of all illness. Right now, the fact that he is no longer in fear, it's as if his body is light. He's in a state of happiness. He has security. He has all the promises that Hashem has behind him. And if before maybe his body was ill or weak, or he couldn't pace himself going forward, well, right now his journey was so easy because he was so delighted by the promises of Hashem. And now, for more than that, what he vowed and he'll turn the promise into a Besorah Tova. So here it is. The Torah is telling us he's lifting up his feet. He's so light. It's as if he's walking hundreds of kilometers. Masa kumta, that the army does. A long journey, and it wasn't hard. But I did interview Yaakov Avinu, and he said he's a little tired after hundreds of kilometers. Let's see, is that what we see here in the Chumash? When we came to Pasuk Bet, we see something unusual. The Torah is so descriptive of this meeting, unlike it does in many other places. The fact that he's meeting people here from Haran, and there's a stone over the well, and there's Shlosha Edrei Tzon. What is the Torah coming to teach us? We're going to answer that in a moment. Then we noticed that Yaakov is social. He's sociable. Hey, Achai, brothers, wow. He has a love of mankind. He doesn't look at the color of their skin or the height or how tall they are, what type of dress they wear, what type of earrings they wear. Achai, my brothers, we have things in common. Where are you guys from? And they answer from Haran, but they're, like you said, they're cagey, they're very cold. Just a one-word, two-word answer. And then again he says in verse 5, Vayomer Lahem, he speaks to them directly. He speaks to them with a yachas ishi, with a personal relationship. Hayadatem et Lavan ben Nachor? You see that hey? That hey is the famous question hey. Ha'im? Ha'im ata makir oto? Ha'im ata ohev oti? Okay, thank you. Hayadatem et Lavan ben Nachor? And again, Vayomru Yadanu. What kind of answer? Very short to the point. It doesn't even say Vayomru Lo. That they said to him. Every time Yaakov speaks, Vayomer Lo, he speaks to them directly, personally, politely. You answered as well. And then when they answer, very cold shoulders. Sounds like you're inside the New York subway. Okay? And then when he's asking, is Lavan okay? Vayomru Shalom. And then what are we told? V'hine Rachel bito ba'a imatzon. 2 points here. Is this phrase stated by these people? Or is this a narrative? It seems to be a narrative. It seems to be God's supervision watching over Yaakov Avinu. Bingo. He comes to this place, a be'er. A be'er is a place of flowing, of water, of success, of nutrition, of vitality. And things are about to happen. Hashem loves Yaakov Avinu. A few weeks ago, before the long journey of hundreds of kilometers, Hashem says, I'm going to watch over you. Ushmarticha bechol asher telech. Here we see the fulfillment of that promise. He comes to a place, this is the place of Haran. And there are people that know Lavan. And who happens to walk in at this moment? V'hine Rachel bito. So you've seen the movie before, so you know that this is going to be his wife. It's not fair, so you can't answer these questions right now. Okay? Rachel bito ba'a imatzon. Did I pronounce the word ba'a properly? Ba'a or ba'a? That is the question. To be or to not to be? Ba'a or ba'a? Please correct me and tell me what is the proper pronunciation. Ba'a. For the reason that the cantillation sign is under the aleph. That means he ba'a, present tense. Did you get that, gentlemen? She is coming. He ba'a. Who's walking into the picture? Rachel. Rachel walks into the picture. Vayomer, Yaakov continues to speak. Hein oda yom gadol lo eite hasef hamikneh. Hashku atzonu lechu ra'u. Uh-oh. What kind of statement is this by Yaakov Avinu?
Maybe he's the supervisor.
He sounds like he's the supervisor over these flocks of sheep, or over these, not the flocks, but over the what?
The people.
The people. What are the people called? Where does it say that in your Chumash?
No, it's not stated.
It's not stated. I beg your pardon. He's talking to who?
To them.
To them, to these shepherds. But the word shepherds, how many times is it not mentioned?
Not even once.
Not even once. And your question is, why? And he's telling them, gentlemen, Yaakov Avinu has arrived in Haran after a long journey of hundreds of kilometers. He meets here with people that you're saying that their job is shepherds, but the Torah doesn't bother to tell us once. I learned this idea from my dear father, Rabbi Horowitz. And maybe see some other assistants there. And Yaakov is saying, my sundial is at this hour. You guys are hired for the day probably. What are you bringing them in for? Go take them out to the... This is called laws of employment. You're stealing the money of your boss. He's hiring you for a day's work, and now are you cutting corners? You're coming back early? Okay? Yaakov is a man of morality. He's a man of high divine ethics. If he sees an injustice, he points it out. He's not afraid that someone's going to say, mind your own business. He cares. He's a klali person. Okay? So here, as we're learning this event, he gives them some musar. And what do they say? In verse 8, their answer, Vayomru lo nuchal. We can't do it. Who's speaking? Question 1. And question 2, what is we cannot do? Who's speaking in Pasuk Chet? All the shepherds that you said are not even mentioned once as shepherds. And what are they saying we cannot do? Lo nuchal. What can we not do?
Water them.
How many?
Roll the stone maybe.
We can't move the stone from the mouth of the well. We're going to learn that's a very subjective reply. They can't do it. Do you know what this is proving? That then, what?
They are weak.
They're weak or lazy. Yeah, we can't do it.
They just rolled it before too.
No, we were learning in verse 3, this is what is done on a daily basis. The Torah gives us a briefing, what happens here at this side of the well. Okay? When all the Adurim are there, then they roll the stone. And now they're complaining, no, we can't do it. Adasher yasvu kol adarim, until all the flocks arrive, v'galalu et even, and then we can roll the stone. So very interesting how they're talking here about themselves subjectively. And you know what? If that's your grasp of life, if that's your viewpoint in life, then you create some problems inside your being. You can't do this, you're not qualified to do that, you don't have the ability to do this. We see here that their value system is, we can wait for more people to arrive, for more flocks to arrive. taking 2 tea breaks every 3 hours instead of once every 3 hours, and allow themselves to, call their mother-in-law and their father-in-law and speak here and not work. Their work ethic seems to be low, doesn't it?
But,
Yes, sir?
but also like the reply, they only reply about the water. They don't, because he say water and grazing. They say, yeah, the stones.
That's
but
right.
they don't explain why they don't want
That's
to
right. And then, as what happens in verse 9, Odenu midaber imam, he, Yaakov, continues to speak with them. And now let's read the next 2 words properly. 1, 2, 3. Verachel.
Ba.
Let's read it one more time. Verachel.
Ba.
That's right. Verachel ba'a. Past tense. The earlier, is an interesting verb, lavo, to bo. You notice that the word is written the same way, but in the present and past, it's pronounced differently. To support this system, this divine language of God to the Jewish people, we have cantillation signs, and we've learned several places, like you read music, the place or position of the cantillation sign usually decides which consonant is being emphasized. In this case, Verachel ba'a. Rachel came. Imatzon asher li'avia. She came with the tzon that belongs to her father, and we're told what? Ki ro'ahi. Ding, 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 ding. What do you notice?
First mention
Hey, the
There's a
first.
shepherd.
What?
There's a
First
shepherdess.
Oh, this is the first time we're seeing the word
shepherd.
a shepherd. She's a ro'ah. As if to say what?
she has authority.
Maybe what
And
else?
she's not lazy. And like the
That's
others.
right. What else?
She can see what's
That's right. What else? What the point that we've been making, Steve and I, that not once does the term ro'im appear.
the shepherds.
Ro'ahi. She is,
The real. She's the supervisor.
she's a real shepherd. Now infer.
The other guys are just like laborers.
Beautiful. The others are imposters. They're supposed to be what? Ro'im, shepherds. But the word doesn't even appear. When we learn Torah, we can learn Torah not only from what is written, we can also learn Torah from what's not written. Maybe the reason the Torah doesn't even bother writing that these guys are shepherds because you see the way they're working. They're not even shepherds. Kiroahi, she's a shepherd. The other guys in Hebrew, they're a bunch of batlanim. Batlanim. Do you know the word batlanan? What is a batlan? What does levatel mean? To null and void. There are people that are just wasting time of their employees, their employers. Okay? They're batlanim. Pasuk Yud. Shall we continue? Vayi. Tan taran. Kasher Yaakov et Rachel. And who is Rachel? Bat Lavan achi imo. Ve'etzon Lavan achi imo. Can I put you on the couch right now? I'd like to put something on your heart. Can you give me your heart for a moment? You just fled, didn't you? A few weeks ago. You said, Shalom Abba, gave him a kiss. Shalom Ima, you gave her a kiss. You've traveled a few hundred kilometers. And now, Yaakov is aware that he now meets a cousin. How does he feel in his heart? Must be happy. Wow.
He understood that she was his cousin?
If it says that he sees Rachel bat Lavan achi imo, that means he knows that she is the daughter of her it's her uncle. Achi imo. Vetzon Lavan achi imo. Okay, let's continue. What does he do? Vayagel et ha'even me'al pi ha'be'er vayashk et tzon Lavan achi imo. What's going on? Huh? How did he do it?
I thought he's tired.
We thought he was tired. Michal told us he's tired.
Miracles.
Is there a pasuk not written here that he had a few manot, a few meals of spinach or something like that? Is that happening here? Yeshayahu Mem. Isaiah chapter 40. V'koyeh, some pronounce it v'koveh, some koyeh Hashem. Those that have hope in God, yachlifu koach. Their strength shall be energized. The Ramban, Nachmanides, tells us that one of the major lessons of this episode that we're reading here is to teach us about a great faith that Yaakov Avinu has. That not only regarding Hashem himself, does God get tired out
No.
once a day? Never. Just like Hashem never gets tired out, but Hashem gives even strength to the tired. Okay? Hashem takes away the fatigue of the tired. But the question we may ask, is it automatic? Every tired person, Hashem takes away his fatigue? Okay? It could mean that even young men who naturally are strong, like today in our army of Israel, and they're fierce, but you know what? After shooting and running for hours and hours, and maybe a day or a day and a half without sleep, they become tired. The best of our soldiers, they have to close their eyes for an hour, 2 or 3 hours, let others do guard duty. And this is what's happening right now in Gaza. So even the top units, Sayeret Matkal or Shayetet Shlosh or all these special units, after going several days without sleeping, they're zonked out. I don't know if that's a proper word in English. Zonked out. They're just no koach. But Yeshayahu says, Vayi'afu ne'arim v'yigau uvachorim kasher yikashelu. But the persons who have trust in God and expect and wait and anticipate the salvation that Hashem has, and they realize the fact that the Yeshua, the salvation, is on its way. That means Hashem is good to all. Tov Hashem lakol v'rachamav kol masav. These type of people that have so much trust and faith in God, they find that their powers are re-energized. It's an interesting pshat in this pasuk, v'koyeh Hashem yachlifu koach. It doesn't say that God gives them their energy. It says the tired, if I didn't write down the entire pasuk, the tired shall energize their strength. What does that mean? That the tired shall energize their strength. What's the pshat? If they're going to make the efforts to reveal and discover strength and look for more strength and look for more strength and find courage through their spiritual strength, their faith in Hashem, koyeh Hashem, then Hashem will aid them. In other words, there are those that say, I'm not going to be tired. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to look to see, do I have any more strength, any more physical power? And I know that God can provide it for me. This is what's happening. Yaakov Avinu arrives in Haran after a journey of hundreds of kilometers, and he meets 3 edrei tzon. And we notice the word the ro'ei tzon are not mentioned. Okay? Because they're not really doing their work. And he cares, even though he never met these people ever in his life. And he knows that these animals, these flocks of sheep, have to be taken care of by their employer. The employers hire these shepherds that are not doing the work. And they're saying, no, we have to wait. We can't do it. We can't roll the stones. And here it is, this large stone that's over the mouth of the Be'er. Yaakov does something that maybe 10 people would do. Yaakov has massive power, a tremendous appearance of strength. From where? It nurtures, it stems from his faith in Hashem. He has deep anticipation of salvation. Now, in addition to this great point, and therefore we said edrei tzon are mentioned, and we talked about number 3, ki roahi, she's She's the real what? Shepherd. She's really doing work. These flocks of sheep, okay, that generally meet around the well, we asked ourselves, is there significance to the number 3? Shlosha edreitzon. Nothing, of course, is incidental in the Torah. The Ramban brings a Midrash Rabbah that there's a hint to the future of Yaakov Avinu and his children. What? This right now is mission number 1 for Yaakov Avinu. Will Yaakov be successful in his mission? Okay? Yes. He reaches a long path. He successfully arrives at a be'er. He's able to provide water for flocks. So too will his children be successful in their missions, whatever Hashem is telling them to do. That's number 1. Number 2, a be'er. We learned last week, when we learned about Yitzchak digging for a be'er, we learned about Esek, Sitna, and Rechovot. And we learned a famous Ramban that those 3 be'erot, 2 contested, 1 he won, that hints to the Beit HaMikdash. Because a be'er ma'im chayim, a well of real live water, a source of real water, that is talking about the water, the vitality, the spirituality of the Beit HaMikdash has for us. So too here, the be'er that he's finding now in Haran, this will be parallel to the source of Ma'im Chayim, the source of Kedusha to the world, which will be later the Beit HaMikdash. When Yaakov saw the be'er, the Midrash says, or the Abarbanel brings, he thought, this must be a great sign to find a wife. Why? Where did his father find a wife? Okay, and where did Avram Avinu, the servant, find a wife for Avram Avinu? Okay, and a wife for Yitzchak, probably next to Beirut as well. That's number 2. It's a sign of a shidduch, a sign of success to find a wife. The idea of 3 edreitzon, the Ramban says, could be significant to the 3 regalim the Jewish people will be practicing Pesach, Shavuot, and Sukkot. When we have these 3 regalim, we have the mitzvah of Aliyah LaRegel. So, in the Beit HaMikdash, some of you know, we have to draw water, especially the holiday of Sukkot. The holiday of Sukkot, we have the water libation. Do you remember? We're drawing water from the city of David. So, the Yerushalmi, though, says not only were we drawing water, we were drawing inspiration, Ruach HaKodesh, the Talmud Yerushalmi says. So some of these ideas are elevating Yaakov, understanding that what he's meeting right now is significant for the future. After understanding that Yaakov cares for people, he calls them Achai, and he speaks to them in person, he now meets Rachel Bito Ba'imatzon. Okay? Now, as we said, Ba'imatzon is the present tense right now. Correct, gentlemen? And after seeing that, what does he do? He approaches this woman. Okay? Let's read which pasuk does he approach this girl. But before he approaches her, what does he do for the tzon? Is he just a gentleman? Or he's a man that cares also for animals? Okay? What does he do? Vayigash Yaakov, he approaches. Vayagel et even. Vayashketzon. You see all the verbs here in this pasuk. Okay? Now, let me ask you something. You know what the word a friar is? What he just goes for anyone. He does work for anyone and everyone. Why is he watering the other flocks of sheep? Can you give me a good answer? Why is he watering these flocks of sheep?
Maybe blessing.
A blessing.
It's a proper thing to do, right? I guess.
It's like to clear.
Are you talking from European derech eretz and midot to be a gentleman?
Yes.
What? That's right. He cares for others. Can you give me a more specific answer? What does it say? Vayashk et. What is he watering? Who's he watering? Tzon Lavan. Who's Lavan?
His uncle.
His uncle. He's watering the sheep of his family. So certainly wants to be benevolent and do goodness to his family.
כן.
Vayash Getzon, it's family.
Also,
Right? Yes or no?
but the 3 flocks also, if you talk about only Rachel.
Here it says, no, he's watering the tzon Lavan Achimo.
Oh.
Could it be that they all belong to Lavan?
It could be. We don't know.
Rich guy.
We don't know. Okay, which is the next pasuk? 11?
Then he kissed.
Oh, no. We'll skip over that pasuk. It's not proper. It's not proper. It's not modest. This is. I didn't expect this to be in the Torah, gentlemen. So let's just skip over this pasuk. Is that okay or not? Oh no, you got me. Would you please save me, sir? Okay. Let's talk about kissing.
It's actually our way of greeting the like I don't know if we have.
Beautiful, very nice. What is the verb in Hebrew? In the infinitive? Lenashek. Lenashek is the verb. Usually, the verb has a preposition. Lenashek et. Okay? Menachem. אתה רוצה לנשק את הספר, את החומש? לנשק את. Et. Okay? That would be a kiss out of love, out of affection, a kiss on the lips. Lenashek et. Is that what appears in our chumash?
No.
I beg your pardon. What's written here?
Vayishak.
No, it's conjugated. Vayishak, but it appears le. Vayishak Yaakov le.
Le Rachel. Oh, le.
Ah, this was not on her lips and onto her face, as the Ibn Ezra says, but rather Vayishak le, instead of et, okay, is on the hand, on the shoulders, or on the neck. In other words, it's out of proper meeting when you meet someone. It's not out of love. It's just proper to meet people. You see in many countries, in hot countries, etc., where people are very warm, then they often kiss one another. It's not out of love. That's the way people meet one another, and they greet. It's a greeting. It's a greeting kiss. Yes, Nita, your question? You want to show us an exhibition? You want to come and kiss my hand?
My kids let me get Negia.
Come on.
No.
What? Ken. So, Shomer Negia. Right. So your question is, Sinai, the Torah was not given. Number 2, Negia is the Rabbanan. So,
She's woman.
And also,
Ken. So the Torah was not given until Sinai. And the Avot, okay, let's get back to, the Talmud says, Ha'avot kimu et kol HaTorah kula. What does it mean that the patriarchs fulfilled all of the Torah? Even it says Avram fulfilled even the mitzvah of Eruv Tavshilin, which is clearly a rabbinical mitzvah. So the Maharal of Prague explains that the Avot on their level were able to guide, direct their actions, behavior, their speech, to a level of spiritual closeness to God, as if the Torah, the mitzvot were all given and they fulfilled those mitzvot. In other words, the Avot were able to reach a plateau, a height, a great level of closeness to God by doing what actions they thought was proper in their minds. And they did everything, of course, for the sake of heaven and not for anything else. But it doesn't, can you pass over the tefillin, please? It doesn't mean that Avraham Avinu in the morning put on tefillin made out of black leather. He didn't put on tefillin. It wasn't given yet. That's what the Maharal says. You're looking at my, you want to check to see, I know you, Steve. I put on tefillin, it doesn't show anymore, okay? That's the answer to your question, Anita, that I learned from my great rabbis. They reached a height of spiritual closeness. But it doesn't mean, this is not out of, I don't know, it's not a perverse thing. It's not a perverted thing to do. It's not a sexual matter that he's doing. He's doing it. He meets family.
yes.
And look, if he was, he's doing it because he can't control, he must kiss women, then what is the next 4 words? Vayisa et kolo vayefk. If you thought we're talking about promiscuity here, okay, there's pritzut here, then this crying out proves that there's no pritzut. It's just that he meets a family member and he's showing a greeting. He's happy to meet a family member. It's what we call, have you ever cried out of happiness? Of course. This is a crying out of happiness. When a family unites out of great joy, one cries to another. So here is a proof. The great commentators explain that this kissing was not out of lust and desire or that he's perverted doing these things. No, the kissing here was done out of greeting, out of happiness. Okay? By the way, the fact that she is called twice, Bat Lavan, in Pasuk Yud, and again in verse 11, not in verse 11, but later on, although Rachel, we're told, is a beautiful woman, what did he see in her? A relative. Okay? Remember how long Yaakov's been wandering away. We didn't mention what the Midrash mentioned, we said it yesterday. He made a pit stop. He didn't travel right away. How many years did he go to the Beit Midrash of Shem and Ever, we explained? 14 years. He hasn't seen family in 14 plus years. It's heartbreaking almost. It's very difficult. So therefore, Yaakov Avinu has been wandering a long time until he comes now and finally he sees his mishpacha, he sees family, he's very happy. And therefore, there's a phrase that's stated so many times. Rachel is bat lavan achi imo, tzon lavan achi imo. Achi imo. Achi imo. What is he picturing? The image of his mother. He's the brother of my mother. The brother of my mother. It's said twice, if not 3 times. In other words, Rav Shimshon Harsh explains this. He's seeing the brother of his mother. He's seeing his mother. He's longing. He misses his family. Okay? We'll continue at this point right afterwards.